our celebration of his resurrection and the transformation of our world from last Sunday. Lord, we give you thanks and praise that you love us and you take care of us and pray for Philip right now as he's going through lots of medical needs. Heal his body, strengthen him, and watch over and protect Laura as she travels to be by his side. Pray that you'll continue to bless our Rotary Club and all that we can do to help to strengthen our community. We thank you for our candidates and all the positions being run for, and lift up the jailers and sheriff candidates today as they share with us their vision. We thank you for this food. Bless this food to our bodies and our bodies to your service. We pray it all in Christ's name. Amen.
Okay, next we have the four-way justice. We haven't seen you in a while, Don. Would you lead us in the four-way justice?
Is it the truth?
Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
It is fair to all concerned.
Will it goodwill, better friendship?
Will it goodwill, better friendship?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, you can have a seat. Skip the song. I've been hunting for a while. Let's see. I don't think our equal birthday guy was skipping out on us. All right, let's give a round of applause for our greeter. Visitors and guests. Now, I know we've got the sheriff and the jailer candidates here, but we have other visitors that we'd like to announce. I'll start off over at this table. My neighbor and friend Jim Allen is here with us today.
I have another guest with us here today, straight from South Carolina. Got all the way up today. She is my guest, but she also is connected to a gentleman sitting here to my right. This is Jeff Tindall's sister, Stacy, who drove all the way up from South Carolina.
Yep, you have a guest as well. This is my lovely wife, Tara. She has put up with me for the last 28 years, and hopefully after this campaign, she will continue to put up with me for another 28 years. I haven't been the most pleasant individual the last 5 months, but thank you for supporting me. My wife, Tara. At this table in the middle here, we have someone that, well, he won't be a guest very much longer, so I think we're going to get him inducted maybe even next week. Dad Douglas. Hey, Dad. And at the back table, Devin.
Not only like Tim, as Jeff just said, today he's got what he's up on the southeast, and I really appreciate that.
And quickly, do we have anyone that just absolutely has something phenomenal they have to share with us? I'm going to make it a quick one. All right, that's all right. We're kind of working on time here. That's fine. Thank you. As I just mentioned, from a membership standpoint, last week we announced that we had approved both Tad Douglas and Matt Rhodes. We have received no questions or comments regarding either, so we will look to update both of these individuals at one of our future meetings here. Also, last Wednesday, we had a speech contest, and there were 4 of us that were there, the 2 Anns, Put the two in. Oh, I mean, Fran and Stan, the two in. Come on, it doesn't get any better than that. We're there, as we all know, Stan has been a long time, I mean, he's really driven us throughout the district. And he's slowly but surely loosening the reins here. Steve was there as well, and of course, Steve was instrumental in getting this thing going some darn near 30 years ago. Fran helped as a judge, and I definitely as well. The winner was this, young lady, Mary Judson. She's from the South Oldham Rotary contest, Rotary Club. She did a great job. Our contestant, Morgan Flood, finished third. And again, she did a very nice job with her speech. So we will be seeing Mary at the district conference next month. Go ahead.
The next level is your regional, east regional, which is just 3 weeks from tomorrow. Rotary. And, we'll have 2 contestants. One from the South Ocean, downtown. And, I like to have 2 judges, someone trying to bring 2 judges that work on solutions on that level. So if anybody could be free, call.
Thanks, Dan. Again, Laura wasn't able to make it, but she did want me to mention that they have their Walk for Life on Saturday, May 14th at the Grange Baptist Church. You can see the details there. It'd be great to support one of our fellow Rotarians in this Walk for Life. I don't imagine that any of our candidates are going to be there because that's the last day of early voting. But yeah, Al.
I did that walk last year, and it's not a hard walk, but it's a great morning. Testimonials, festive atmosphere, it's just a really great event. And so, they're all interested. I strongly encourage you to go to that. So it's great.
That's great. Thank you, Al.
If you did go, take a picture of yourself and you put on Facebook.
Yeah. And King, we did need the sheets on the table again as far as project graduation. I know they're still looking for additional sponsorship or money. I think they're looking for volunteers as well. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So take a look at that. We still got a month or so to go before that happens, but this is sort of a short term that they're putting this together. And I think I saw in the paper somewhere that they try to raise about $30,000 to really put on a successful project graduation. So it'd be great to have, besides the grant that we gave, additional support and so on. All right, trivia. So for those that are guests here and whatnot, every week we've been having a Rotary trivia question to educate our club more about Rotary. This club has done phenomenally well every single week. They nail these questions. Yeah. All right. But the team whose last name starts with G through L leads with 10 points, followed by S through G with 8, H through F with 7, and M through R following with 3. But they are closers. I heard that. All right. So here is today's trivia question. There are over 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. Many belong to various Rotary fellowships. Which of the following is not currently recognized as a Rotary fellowship? All right, I know there's no guesses. I know someone knows the answer to this. Quiet group. Mark, Middleton. That is incorrect. There is a Rotary fellowship for Middleton. Which is incorrect. I heard something over here.
Heard something. Who said that? Rosemary? You are correct.
Can you believe they've got beer, they've got wine, they've got whiskey, they do not have bourbon, and they do not have spelunky. There is over 100 different Rotary fellowship groups. This is just a few of the ones that are on there. I know it's probably hard to read from the back, but I mention this because, again, it's a great way to meet fellow Rotarians, whether it's locally or if you're out traveling. And I did note here that, with over 130 cases in Kentucky, maybe someone wants to start a balloon team, club. So where's the phone in here? There's clearly something wrong with Kentucky Fellowship. You got Berman, you just want these down to work out. Yeah, nothing, clearly. Good job, Rosemary. Okay. All right, upcoming schedule next week, we do have the students of the month. The following week, we've got Jason Morgan. He's going to give a derby program for our guests. If you want to almost guaranteed to know who the winner is, skip this meeting. May 10th, Angela Gardner with the Daughters of the American Revolution. Hopefully this is also correct. Matt Rhodes, who will be one of our newest members, will be talking to us about a health update. Laura Taft, a member with the Crossroads Center. And yes, we are going to have to do Students of the Month on May 31st. I have been assured that they will have students here for that. And then you see some of the other things that we've got upcoming here. I mentioned some things here as far as Al was already ahead of me. He knows that it's National Garlic Day. I don't know if you put garlic on your pizza, but today was also the day that the Revolutionary War started. Here's your little trivia. 420. Yes, today is 420. It's for cannabis advocacy. I know it didn't, medical marijuana didn't pass through the legislature. And I was asking Robert earlier about 420. If there's a police code, 420. And there's, I hope you guys are nodding your head. So there is a 420 code. All right, we won't make that part of your speech. Tomorrow, Thursday is National Kindergarten Day, followed by National High Five Day. So make sure, if you're going around, high five all your guests. National Earth Day is actually a very well recognized holiday. And then the 23rd is Shakespeare Day, or Talk Like Shakespeare. Yes, he was born in 1564. I will pay money if someone will get me video of a candidate knocking on doors talking like Shakespeare. Good campaign time. Good campaign time. All right. With that, let's get to the reason a lot of you are here, which is to hear from our, first we're going to have a sheriff candidate and then our jailer candidate. So what we are doing is we have agreed that we will give them about 5 minutes. And Matt, give me the official timer over there. 5 minutes, and they're going to give us a little bit of introductory and background about themselves. In addition, the sheriff candidate, we've got we've asked them 2 questions, and it's up on the podium. So as part of their 5 minutes, they're going to be answering a couple of questions about turnover and a question about the contract. I've asked them to work it in, whether it's their 5 minutes that they'll have, or they'll have 1 minute for sort of a closing comment. So we flipped the coin a moment ago, and I believe Tim is going first, followed by Robert Lane. So again, we're not doing Q&A here. It's just going to be Tim's going to give us 5 minutes. When it gets down to 30 seconds, Matt will hit it down. Flank it, they get down to the time. And when you see the stop sign, don't literally stop. Okay. So we will get to the stop. So, and then again, you'll have sort of 1 minute to do sort of a closing comment as well. Fair enough? All right. All right, I'm Tim Wakefield. I'm running for Oldham County Sheriff. I just want to say thank you to the Grange Rotary Club for providing this venue for us to get our message out. I was born in 1967, a little corner of Oldham County called Wakefield. Lived there my entire life. Graduated from Oldham County High School in 1985. While I was in high school, I met a lady named Terry Thomas, and she has been my wife for 34 years now. We have 3 adult children, Justin, Scott, and Sarah. And we have 3 grandchildren, Brady, who's 9, Claire, who's 5, and my new grandson, who's 13 weeks old, Oliver Schultz. My brother and my grandkids make a nice generation of my family who lives here in Oldham County. And my brother and I still run the family farm down in Forestburg, where I've lived mostly my entire life. I've always been dedicated to Oldham County. I started here very young as a law enforcement officer, started working as a teenager on the farm.
continue to serve Oldham County through the South Oldham Fire Department Board of Directors, and I'm also on the Personnel Committee. I'm on the Oldham County Ag Development Council, and my family started in Floydsburg Cemetery, got Memorial Chapel back in the 30s, and my grandparents and I have served on that board diligently for Floydsburg Cemetery. I began my law enforcement career in 1990 at the Oldham County Jail, and bolted out of there after about 30 days because the Grange Police Department offered me a position as a police officer. In June of that year, I went to the police academy. I graduated, started my career with the Oldham County Police Department in April of 1991. I was patrolman there until 97, and I was promoted to the rank of sergeant. 99, I was promoted to the rank of lieutenant, and both of those were merit promotions. I had success in those two promotions. 2002, somebody made me a major and chief of police for about 7 months. And then I went back to my permanent rank of lieutenant, eventually got promoted back to major. And for a majority of my career, I was the operations commander for the Oldham County Police Department. In 2015, discussed with Chief Smith what would happen if I retired, because the system was structured financially a good time to retire. And it opened up a lot of opportunities for people who had been working under me for a long time and waiting for me to get out of the way to move up. So I took that opportunity to retire. I knew that I was going to run for sheriff. I promised Steve Sparrow I would not run against him. So I took a position at the Trimble County Sheriff's Office, where I've been for the last 6 years. And it's been a great opportunity for me, because I have learned virtually everything there is to know about the responsibility of running the sheriff's office here in town. During my tenure at the Oldham County Police, I ran all aspects of the operations. I was the SWAT team commander for about 15 years and spent 26 years as a member. I was very instrumental in implementing school resource officers in Oldham County. I was the first supervisor who ran that division until I retired in 2015. I worked very hard with the superintendent and assistant superintendent, who happened to be Wakefield at one point. And then the assistant superintendent was in charge of people personnel with Joe Jacobino and Dan Warren. And we were instrumental in putting together the school safety plans we have here in Oldham County. That's a program that's very near and dear to my heart. And that also is part of my future as a sheriff. I think that we need to get back into the schools. We need to have deputies spend several hours a week with each school resource officer. They need to get to know the schools, they need to get to know the children, because that is probably the most vulnerable and one of the biggest daytime populations we have in Oldham County. I also think we need to have active training in the schools. When I was operations commander for the Oldham County Police Department, we continually trained in those schools for active shooters. And Dan Orr and I visited those classrooms, got the teachers together, and explained to them how they could empower themselves to protect themselves and kids if there was a critical incident going on in their school. And that's going to start happening again. One of the questions that was asked about employees with the department who are concerned about turnover. I can't run the sheriff's office by myself. So everybody that has a job there now will continue to have a job there. The only personnel changes I see will be the sheriff and the chief deputy that I choose. There's going to be a lot of challenges coming up with the sheriff's office, because the services are expanding with the growth in the county, so we're going to have to actually grow and not reduce any numbers. And with the new judicial center coming on, that staff is probably going to nearly double. The AOC has agreed to raise the reimbursement price from $9 to $15 per hour. That's still going to be difficult to find good quality people who can perform that job. We're going to have to pay more than $15 an hour, and they'll go to McDonald's or someplace like that where we can go and pay money. So that's going to be a big struggle for the sheriff's office. Nobody's going to lose their job. It's going to make it bigger. That's close enough to roll this out.
That's very good, very good.
No blue lights behind you. Hello, Rotarians and guests. Thank you all for having us here today to speak to you. I'm Robert Lane. My wife, Leanne, couldn't be here today. She's out working in the field. Her and our daughters, we live in Grange, Kentucky here, right outside of Buckley Middle School. I'm your neighbor. I'm a dedicated public servant from right here in Oldham County, and my hope is that I can continue to serve you as the next sheriff of this beloved community. Over my 21-year career in law enforcement, I've never wavered from what I feel is a noble pursuit that everyone, regardless of politics, race, religion, gender, nationality, or opinion receives equal treatment in the law. It is through my commitment to fairness, free of favoritism for every citizen of Logan County that I have found myself seeking the office of sheriff. I'm not in the race for political gain, personal clout. I'm here because I love Logan County and want more for my community. Politicians make promises, public servants make progress. That is what you will see from me. Boots on the ground. Working hard for our county, as I've always done. I'm tired of the status quo in our public safety services, and I've made it my mission to lead change in creating a new culture within the profession. Culture built on real, lasting relationships with the community, partnering to realistically solve problems and meet the needs of everyone. The world has changed, and we need a fresh, young perspective to navigate the future of public service here in Logan County. Although my steadfast commitment to equal justice for all has never faltered, I have also learned and grown so much over my career in law enforcement. I plan on applying my storied experience to lead with wisdom and spirit of adaptation. I have a proven track record of being present, approachable, and active in Logan County at every level. I began my career in the Oakland County Sheriff's Office under Sheriff Steve Sparrow, moving up from court deputy to patrol. I then left to gain valuable experience as an officer with the Oakland County Police while I was a member of the SWAT team and became a training officer. Upon leaving the Oakland County Police in 2009, I worked in an undercover capacity at the Kentucky Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control in our regional area. In 2015, I returned to Oakland County Police and continued to work hard to help lift up our community in many ways. As a police officer, I intimately know every corner of the county and the people in it. I have built history of trust with many of those. Community organizations. I created cop-catching kindness and inspiration using positive reinforcement to reward those in our community doing good deeds. I also founded Guns and Hoses charity flag football game, bringing the police officers and firefighters together for a charitable cause. I serve on the board, as a board member on the Oakland County Red Cross, as well as the Hometown Pizza nonprofit Every Slice Matters. I am past president of the Oakland County Internal Order Police, and I'm current second vice president of the Oakland County Internal Order Police. Chose to be involved in many of these groups and events as a way to give back to the community that built me. My love of Oakland County and desire to serve others, coupled with a diverse police background and ability to surround myself with well-rounded, like-minded people, what I feel has prepared me to be the next year. One of the questions we've been asked is about the employees of Oakland County Sheriff's Office. As I stated in my opening, everybody has a job. Not one person will lose a job when they get there. I currently work on the ground with these people every day. I have relationships with them. Nobody will be fired. Nobody will lose anything. I'm here to make their lives better, to make our community better, and to work with them. Pretty great work. We'll take the community in another trajectory at the state level, at the federal level, and at the local level. So nobody's going to lose that. Not one person. Legislators passed new laws regarding constables and the training requirements in order to carry out certain law enforcement duties. I don't know those. I haven't got to study those laws yet. We're out here grinding, and I've not had time to look at that, to be honest with you. However, as I've said previously, the constables are constitutional office. We have to work with them just like this office is constitutional office. So we will work with them in whatever manner we can to help better our community. I feel training is a big thing to work with them on. I'm all for them professionalizing the constable profession. They can do a lot of times in communities for free. And just like I did as a special deputy, it's kind of the same thing. They have police powers. A lot of people don't realize that the citizen court determines whether or not they get blue lights and stuff like that. So that would be on the citizen court to make those decisions for them. I'm willing to work with them in any way we can make it happen. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Closing comment.
About the new legislation passed by the House. Actually, the bill requires constables to receive the same certification as police officers and deputies if they want to perform the same duties. I am totally in favor
think that everyone needs to be trained in this. Not have time, because of you, to tell you everything that I wanted to know, but I will promise you everything you need to know. If you can't find it on my Facebook page, then Wakefield for Sheriff. If you can't find it on WakefieldForSheriff.com. Actually putting together something. I never dreamed I'd do a YouTube channel, which will have a lot of good information on there. All of my personal contact information out there on all of those street venues. Pick up the phone and call me. People have, trust me. They went, what's your feeling on the Second Amendment? What you done think the government comes in and tries to take away our rights? So feel free. I would love to have good, logical conversations with people that are concerned about this. In closing, as years have gone by, I've heard and read many stories of people wishing to get away from the good old boy system and open government. Now you have that opportunity in the sheriff's position. Policing yesterday doesn't get done in today's time. We need a fresh, more youthful perspective that is intertwined with the best of current policing, resulting in an overall better policing model for our community. Someone who can light the fire in the belly of the sheriff's office, our community, and someone that our youth can continue to look up to for many years to come. I promise you and to myself to be a sheriff that is present in all areas of our community, every chance that I get, including on the street. As your next sheriff, I will work to make community engagement policing a top priority along with transparency and professionalism. I want to assure all current sheriff's office employees, you will have a job the day that I take off, and that will allow us to have a smooth transition in leadership. Over 21 years ago, I started my career out with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office as a special deputy. I will be honored to have the opportunity to finish out where I started. I'm Robert Lane, and I humbly ask for your vote as the next Deputy Sheriff of Oakland County on May 17th, 2020.
Robert and Kim. We're going to move on to the jailers next. Again, we flip the coin, and Kevin is going to start, followed by Jeff. Gave them a couple of questions as well. One, I think that they'll certainly cover in their initial commentary. And there was a similar question about any possible changeover in employees. So if I could have Kevin, very good.
Good afternoon. I appreciate the opportunity to address the Grange Rotary today. Kim and I live in Goshen and are members of Southeast Christian Church and attend the Prospect campus. I currently serve as Deputy Judge Executive where I oversee many of the day-to-day operations of county government. I have over 35 years of police, public safety, and administrative experience. In my police career, I was certified instructor in firearms, self-defense, use of force, and other areas. I worked for the Oakland County Police Department in 2005, then went to work as supervisor of the Kentucky State Police in the strategic planning. In 2007, I was asked to return to Oakland County to create the Office of Emergency Management and become associate full-time director. In 2008, I was asked to take on the additional responsibility of 911 director. In addition to providing me with valuable administrative and managerial experience, being appointed deputy judge allowed me to have the unique qualification of having both law enforcement and governmental administrative experience to be jailed. Jail is a multi-million-dollar business. Only candidate with the experience to oversee the current jail budget of $5.3 million. The largest budget in county government. EMA and I'm one director. I have over 10 years of budgeting experience in planning and administrative budgets. You will likely hear my phone say, because I've never worked inside a jail, I am not qualified to be jailed. I spoke with other elected jailers around the state who came directly from law enforcement into the jail. Their extensive law enforcement training and experience made their transition to jail much easier. We'll do what every good leader does, and that is keep people in key roles. I have nothing but respect for the job the current chief deputy and other jail staff have done, and I will continue to utilize that experience. No one will lose their job as a result of me being jailed. Former clerks Ann Brown and Rick Lash were both elected to their respective offices with no specific located experience and ran very successful offices for years. Recently, I, along with other members of the court, went to Frankfurt and had discussions with our state representatives concerning current legislation and other topics of Oakland County interest. The jailer, I will continue to push our state and county elected officials, anything to save taxpayer dollars and improve jail operations. We'll be a watchful eye on your hard-earned taxpayer dollars. Current policy in the jail allows employees to retire and return to work within days at the same exact rank and salary they retired at. Not only all other jail employees have retired and right back to work, not only significantly increasing their own pay, but also costing taxpayer dollars, thousands of dollars, to fund the pension that they can no longer get benefits from. As importantly, this practice has prevented other highly qualified, less senior employees from being promoted up the ranks. Many of you in this room are business leaders and business owners. Can you imagine potentially stifling the career advancement opportunities of your employees? Where is the incentive for the employee to stay with an organization and know they cannot move past a certain level? Currently serve on the Oakland County EMS Board and United Way Advisory Council for Oakland County. Formerly, I was a member of the Oakland County Police Merit Board and the Oakland Fire Board. My priorities are listed on my right card, which are available around the side table. In closing, I would like to outline two of my priorities today. Providing deputy jailers with the tools, equipment, and training necessary for them to do their jobs professionally and keep them safe. Ensuring the safety of deputy jailers will always be my number one priority, and training is a big component of that priority. Last legislative session, House Bill 439, which would have established mandatory basic and in-service training for deputy jailers, was introduced. Deputy jailers receive very little, if any, actual law enforcement training. They are allowed to work off the security staff in full uniform, just like our old head police officers or kind of sheriff deputies do. All police and sheriff deputies go to police basic training in Michigan, Kentucky. Publicly stated that do not intend to prohibit off-duty work. I do want deputies to receive better training when they work off-duty. Sponsor of House Bill 439, so just recently, comes down to a matter of liability. All the recent events swirling around law enforcement in the last couple of years, training is now more vital than ever before. Where there is liability, there is exposure, therefore, the county, therefore, us as taxpayers could be liable. Second goal is to discuss creating a jail policy advisory committee, which will include police, prosecutors, defense attorneys, health, substance abuse counselors, and many others. This is similar to the advisory board we had at the 911 center. It was made up of police, fire, EMS, and dispatch personnel that has input on all topics. I found that this committee was self-dispatched very well. No one person should have the authority to make decisions that affect multiple agencies. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rotary Club, for having me here today. My name is Jeff Tindall, and I'm currently working for Oakland County Jail. My wife of 28 years, and I moved here with our son in 1997. Our other two children, Alex and Reese, were born and raised in Oakland County. So proud to say that all three of my kids have been educated at the Oakland County School System. Chase is currently a high school Spanish teacher, and Alex, my middle child, is studying chiropractic. He's going to do chiropractic, and my daughter Reese is finishing up her senior year. Since 1993, I've been a soldier in the United States military. I am still currently serving. I've got 5 years active Army, 10 years Kentucky National Guard, 10 years Army Reserves, and I'm a veteran of Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. In the community, I've been a coach of many youth and middle school sports. I'm so glad to have Mark Beeman here. We helped open up the Oakland County Middle School baseball program because our middle school didn't have a baseball program. It's still going strong. I attend Southeast Christian Church at the Grange campus. I'm a member of the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 62, where I'm so proud to say I most recently received their endorsement. In 1997, I was blessed to find a second family at the Oakland County Jail. 25 years, I've had the honor to work for a place that wasn't considered a job. It was considered a career. Not only that, it has been 25 years of training under a man that's been elected 7 times in this county. True leader, a Rotarian like this. Without your training, Mike, and your leadership that you've provided me over a quarter century, I wouldn't be standing here speaking. front of all of you all today. I think I could say the same thing for Tim and Robert, about the man that one of them are about to follow his ship. Another leader and lieutenant is Steve Sparrow. I'd like to thank both of you all for your leadership over the years. Thank you so much. Throughout my campaign, I've enjoyed being able to get to know the community. I've been encouraged and humbled by responses from the public. I understand that people incarcerated are members of our community. Some of them could be family members or friends if you all sit in these seats right here. I understand we have the opportunity to help inmates gain skills they need to avoid future incarceration. I have fostered relationships with some of our community partners for this purpose, and if elected, I plan to broaden that scope. My role includes public safety. I understand that maintaining safety and security goes further than what just happens inside the walls of the jail, but how our professionalism can influence those we supervise in our community. Another role of the jailer is maintaining the budget. Just a few weeks ago, Judge Vogel spoke to the Rotary and talked about how well the jail runs financially and how we drive our operation budgets down. Our current budget is $5.3 million. We are projected this June 30th to come in at $4.7 million. That's $600,000 under budget. Our revenue is budgeted at $4.7 million. We are projected to finish at $4.9 million. That's a total difference of $200,000. I'm the only candidate that's showed up at work every day the last 25 years and helped keep expenses down and revenue up. I also want the public to know that the jail, like any organization, is good as the people working there. I've been incredibly lucky in my last 45 years at the Oakland County Detention Center to work with some of the most dedicated, passionate, and professional people imaginable. I've been honored to be able to support and lead them as a sergeant, a lieutenant, a major, and training officer. I've worked tirelessly to ensure that the staff have education and training that is tailored to their unique duties and responsibilities. A successful jailer cannot be focused only on administrative duties. They cannot stay in their office and leave work to the other people. We must be able to roll our sleeves up and get in the trenches. The Oakland County Detention staff know that I will be there every step of the way. Commitment and dedication aren't just slogans of my campaign. They are essential qualities of the jailer. The staff must know the leader has their back and understands their work. My vision, my focus has been and will be the leader that they deserve.
Your final comment, Kevin?
Jail had the same leader for that last 30 years, same administration. It's time for a fresh look. Anytime you have the same people in charge of the same thing, they tend to do the same old thing the way it's always been done. As I said in my opening statement, there are things that I think we can do to provide taxpayers a better bang for their buck. There are a couple of things going on there that cost taxpayers thousands of dollars. I think they need to change. The training question that the sheriff came with Scott about the constables, I think that's a very good question because constables right now probably do more training than deputy sheriffs do, and they're allowed to go out and work off duty. I have a proven track record. I've held numerous director level positions in county government. In addition to my extensive law enforcement background, I have over 10 years of administrative budget experience. I've left every department in better shape than when I found it. I have founded departments, I have worked departments, directed, and I do roll my sleeves up and get in there and help get the job done. Appreciate your support. I will bring leadership, supervisory, administrative training experience to the next year. Thank you very much.
Just to let everyone know that there will be nobody losing their job without the jailer. I will start tomorrow. I'm ready. I do not have to be trained for this position. Something that I want to finish with. I got this letter from a former inmate. As many of you might already know, I struggled for years with drug addiction, which led me to incarceration time and time again. I spent the majority of my time in the Oakland County Detention Center where I first met Major I can testify that as hard as Joe was for me, that was what I needed at the time. Mr. Tindall has always been fair to me and always encouraged me to go to recovery and be successful. I can say that meant a lot to me because he was not only brutally honest, but also respectful. I was going to die if I didn't get sober. In 2018, I went to Wakefield Ministry and gave my life to Christ. Due to Mr. Tindall's advice, I'm going on 4 years sober. My whole adult life, I have been committed myself to serve the people of Oakland County and the United States. And I would be honored for your support and your votes to be the next janitor of Oakland County. Thank you.
We all can agree, we've got 4 excellent candidates that are going to be replacing some longtime Rotarians in the room. I think it's, if I could, I'd like to just take a moment. Could we acknowledge the retiring sheriff and jailer for all the service they provide to our community? With that, these folks have heard me say it, it's almost becoming a weekly part. It's going to be critically important to get out and vote on May 17th or early voting on May 12th, 13th, and 14th. I will say that the challenge I have for our community is that if we can get as many people out to vote as I see political campaign signs, we will have a 50% or greater turnout. Is that not the truth? Yeah. And speaking of, is it the truth? Before we do our raffle and dismiss you, I am going to ask the candidates in just a moment to come up so we can take a quick picture and everything. But I'm going to give each of you one of our 4-way test points. I would ask that you maybe put this in your pocket as you're out there knocking on doors or talking to people on the streets, because as we start every one of our meetings, you hear us talk about things such as the first thing, is it the truth? And if you guide your personal and professional life with just that one of the 4-way test, you'll do so well in the jobs that you folks are looking to undertake. So I'll give each one of you one of these points. With that, we'll do the raffle here. And, some of you that may have missed last week's meeting, we finally, for the first time, we had a winner last week, Mr. Steve Sparrow. So if any of you are looking to nominate him, what was it, 386 or something like that. It was a nice size pot. So we're starting over here again. All right. So the raffle ticket this week is 5. These are last 3 numbers. 5, 8, 7. Oh, the judge. The judge has been away from us for a while, so for everybody else, if he hits pink, he gets $40. If the Rotary emblem, he gets a pot. Any other color, he gets a pizza. How much is it? Okay, and with that, remember to go and serve and
Yeah, I see you and I meet you in a couple.